Everyone, welcome to the Gypsy Caravan. I'm Shan. Happy New Year! This is the first video of the year and I'm going to start off pretty simple and easy. I'm going to show you how I do my defined fluffy brow routine. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spoolie our brows back against themselves. Trust me, this makes sense at the end. So I'm just going to brush them backwards. Generally this works if you have already got some kind of thickish brow. If you don't, you can totally skip this step. We will add products in later, but for the most part, or if you have really thick brows like I do, brush them backwards with a spoolie. The first product I'm going to go in with is this brow pen by MAC. It has an eyeshadow end and it has a brow tint felt tip pen on the other side. We're going to go in with the eyeshadow nub first. I am just brushing this product into the hairs. I am not touching the skin underneath my brow. I'm not touching any skin for that matter. I'm literally just brushing this eyeshadow, this waxy type of eyeshadow, into the actual hairs. And basically the reason why I do this is to create the illusion that the brow is thicker than what it is. This is also what's going to tint the hairs and just create a deeper dimension in the brow. I'm then going to take the spoolie again and just brush through that eyeshadow. I'm also going to now brush my brows the correct way so that we can start filling them in. The pencil I use is a MAC eyebrow pencil. This is the pencil that has the spoolie on the one end and the pencil on the other, obviously. We're going to use the pencil side, of course. And the first thing I do is I start mid-brow, underneath my brow. And I pretty much just underline the brow and then extend it out because my brows unfortunately are quite short. We can't have everything in life. So the first thing I'm going to do is just underline the outer half of my brow underneath, and then I'm going to outline the top outer half of my brow and just create a tail. And once I'm happy with that shape, I'm then going to just bring the line of my brow down a little bit. I do prefer drawing in a thicker brow for myself. I'm not entirely happy with where the position of my brows are on my face at the moment. Again, we can't have everything in life, can we? Anyway, so I'm just going to extend the front of my brow slightly, thicken it up, recreate a new brow shape for myself, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the top of the brow. I'm not touching the very inner corner of the brows because I'm saving that for a different product later. So for now, wherever I have outlined my brow, I am just going to fill it in. Normally when I am outlining the brow, I like to use a light hand, and then when filling in the brow and then going towards the tail of the brow, I do add a lot more pressure to obviously get the pencil and the product down in the brow. I'm then going to spoolie the brow again, and as you can see here, there are a couple of gaps, of course, so I'm just going to go in and fill those in with the pencil just to make sure that the brow is filled in, it's thick, you know, it looks fluffy, we don't have any missing gaps, and this is pretty much the shape that I like to go for. My brows technically are quite flat in shape, so I do like to extend the arch a tiny bit and then just taper the ends out. I feel like that's the kind of brow shape that best suits my face shape. Of course, you need to fill in your brows according to how you prefer it. Once I've filled in the brow and I'm happy with the shape and opacity of the brow, I am just going to wiggle the spoolie through my brow just to blend in that pencil a little bit more, and then alakazam, the other brow is done. So now we're going to move on to the very inner corners of my brows, or the very inner part of my brow. Going back in with that brow pen that we used in the beginning, instead of taking the eyeshadow side or the eyeshadow end, we are now going to use the felt tip pen. If you are going to use this pen, please shake the product up. It is a very sheer product, and if you don't shake it up, you're not going to get the color opacity that you want from this product. Basically all I'm doing is I'm just mapping out where my brows need to end, because unfortunately I have that problem where my brows are just not even. My nose I also broke, so my nose is skew. So I'm going to try and align my brows up as best as I can. And then as you see here, I'm using the very tip of this pen to create hair strokes within the front of my brow. Think of it like what a microbladed brow would look like to you. That's pretty much what I try and mimic with this pen. So use the lightest pressure with a ticking sort of motion and the very tip of this pen to create those hair-like strokes, or to give the illusion that my brow is perfect, even though they aren't. So yeah, I'm just filling that in, and then also just any micro gaps that are still within the eyebrow, I will go in with this pen and fix it, because obviously it is a precision tip. So it's super easy to fill in any missing gaps, or like I said, to create the really fluffy effect within the first half of the brow. So you'll see I do fill in a little bit, go back and forth in the mirror and just try and correct. Obviously your brows aren't twins, they are sisters or cousins, whatever family member you choose. But I will do this back and forth thing where I will fill in a little bit of my brow, check how it looks in the mirror, go back. That's the best way I know how to correct your brows. Then to add an extra element of fluffy thickness to my brows, and also just to set them for the day, I am using this brow gel set by NYX. It has additional extension and fibers in this brow product, so it is going to help thicken the brow, or thicken the illusion that there is a brow. I made a oops, which I will fix later. But essentially I'm just brushing this in the hairs first, like I'm just coating the product within the hairs. And once the product begins to leave the brush, I will then start pushing the hairs up against my skin, so almost like gluing them to my forehead. And essentially this is just what's going to help keep the brows upright and just extended like so. I do really love a bushy, thick, fluffy, messy kind of brow like this, so I love it when the hairs stand up on end like that. And obviously to keep them standing up like that, I need to push them against my forehead. That's just the way it is. My brows are quite heavy. They fell literally 5 minutes after I did this video. So just be sure of that if you are looking for that fluffy effect. And these are pretty much my brows up close. You can see they're still kind of natural-ish. I don't overdraw my eyebrows too much. I do try and just make them even and make them suitable for my face shape, but there we go.